Now we're live. What's up? What's up? Hey, Raw Dogging Jimmy Carter. Is that what we're changing the title of this to?
The Jimmy Carter Raw Dog Brigade.
The saddest day.
Over the grave of Jimmy Carter.
I think YouTube will like that one a lot.
Yeah, that would get promoted in the algorithm.
Gotta stay relevant somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Nancy Reagan meets up with Jimmy Carter in heavenly reunion. Throat goat testing her skills for a president.
This is gonna be the first time where I'm like, you know what? AI, there's a use for it. You know, there's a concrete use for it.
Do you remember that insane photo of Jimmy Carter and his wife with Jill Biden and Joe Biden, and they look like 10 times larger?
Oh, the big and small photo.
The Museum of Illusions, like the Believe It or Not museum. Yeah,
I can pull it
it's
up real quick.
Crazy.
One of the most insane, and it's not edited. That's the most insane thing about it. It's literally not edited.
It is unphotoshopped. It is what I would describe it's almost sexual in nature. It reminds me of the picture of the big girl picking up the little girl.
Here, I've got it right here if we need it.
And I do think.
Can you share your screen? I have it too, but if you have it already, then.
When speaking about his legacy, this is the truth.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Go for it, Gavin. Sorry, this is
the truth is too hard.
Oh fuck!
This is the photo is tiny. That's how tiny they are. And we got the photo came from Jimmy's pocket.
Here, I got the good one, guys. Sorry.
This is so funny. This is why we're live streamers.
You know what? The thing is, Jimmy Carter was the last short king president, if anybody's curious. Look at this. Wow.
Whoa.
He was only 3 feet tall.
I can't believe it.
And Joe Biden looks like that's like the least feeble he's ever looked in his presidency, because he's next to people that are like even more feeble, you know? He looks
That's
like
what was missing from the campaign.
Exactly.
Forced perspective, camera perspective. Like, we needed to surround
only extras that were like a foot shorter than him.
It would be like the next Tom Cruise movie. They just put out a casting call and make Los Angeles look like everybody's 4'9", and then Tom Cruise comes in looking like a strapping badass 6'8". You're like, wow, you're a hulking dude.
Joe Biden streams from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he's just like, "Oh, we got all these Oompa Loompas. We got all these Oompa Loompas around. I'm big. I'm healthy. I'm alive."
Listen, Jack. I gave him a job. I said, "Listen, I can't stop anybody from laughing at you. Look in the mirror, Jack." I said, "I'm gonna give you a job. Push the wheelbarrow. It's gonna be okay."
Sometimes doubt that this is a real photo. I don't understand it. Like, it makes no fucking sense to me.
It's too shocking. Take it down. I can't look at it anymore. But that is the truth. You know, a lot of people are talking Jimmy Carter, rest in peace. He level capped at 100 and he logged off for the final time. And a lot of people are like, who was this man? Who was this man? I'm not sure. I have no opinion. To me, he was just a peanut farmer, which is intrinsically evil. To me, I think
100% evil, an evil bastard, and he was conniving too. And he's what the Democratic Party has been missing. You know, the kind of guy that would suck your blood. You know, Nosferatu came out, and I think there's a lot of similarities between Count Orlok and a guy like Jimmy Carter. In fact, I've got a great clip from the doctor of journalism himself, Hunter S. Thompson. We can play, giving quite a description of Jimmy Carter. If you guys want to take a look.
Sort of the Van Helsing of politics. Let's check it out. Let's slay.
You've heard it from the Beast Slayer himself.
I think he's one of the 3 meanest men I've ever met. The other 2 were Muhammad Ali and Sonny Barker, the president of Hells Angels. Those 3 men are a whole cut above everybody else I've ever run into in terms of sheer functional
evil
meanness.
Functional meanness?
Yeah. Well, meaning the ability to get from A to either B, C, M, Z, whatever you want. Carter would cut my head off to carry North Dakota. Cut both your legs off to carry a ward in the Bronx. Never apologized for it. He understands the system. That's why he won.
This is a great set, by the way.
Great set. The 70s had great talk shows. Could we talk about that for a second? That's the real takeaway from that clip.
Everything's worse. We're in a Zoom call right now. Everything was worse back then. Better back then, yeah. I mean, but what are we supposed to make of that, Zach?
that this man was functionally evil, potentially vampiric, and so the deal he made with the substance caught back up to him. That's why the forced perspective exists. Look, when you make a deal with the devil, you get to be president for one term, but it comes back to haunt you. Right. This man lived to be 100 years old exactly, okay? He had to keep going on these horrible trips and building houses. Do you think that's what presidents do? No, it was because of a pact he'd made with the devil. He had to work himself to the bone until he was old and frail. His body had disappeared. It had sunken into the ground, but yet trapped in his own hell of his own making. He had to endure, soldier on. His wife gets to go up to heaven. Not Jimmy. He's got to continue swinging the hammer. I mean, really.
I'm tired of leaving the wives out of it, too. If you're the wife, you're supporting your man, you know? So I think that the wife should go to hell. If Jimmy's going to hell, then the wife should probably go to hell, too, right?
Oh, wow. This guy doesn't believe that women have their own minds, thoughts, and feelings. It all goes away
if you're supporting this guy for, like, his whole life, I'm into equal rights. You're kind of... You're being one of those soy Marvel milady guys.
Like that? He seems like one of the only presidents with a real clean track record.
No, he is. That's why I was kidding. Outside of the fact that he was pretty hawkish towards Iran, and he really did fuck up the whole thing with Pakistan while he was president. That cost him the election for real.
What cost him the election? I was gonna ask why he got shellacked so fucking hardcore.
There were 49 hostages in Pakistan, and it was a really big deal. And a lot of people think that because of George H.W. Bush's connections to the CIA and his connection to the Ronald Reagan campaign, obviously he was the vice president, that they were able to negotiate with Pakistani officials and say, hey, we're not going to have the hostages released until after Jimmy Carter leaves the White House. And then like the day after Reagan takes the White House, he gets on the phone and he gets the hostages back. It was a huge international scandal. On top of that, he also abandoned labor at the time, and he was horrible on unions when he was president, which really cost him. And he basically was the death knell for Democrats with labor. And that's one of the real reasons that Bill Clinton, when he finally, when the Democrats were able to get back to the table after 12 years, after the horrendous things that Jimmy Carter did, I'm just being honest, he was really bad with organized labor.
No, be real, speak your truth. This is important because
after he was president, he was, a charming guy.
I heard he was a good president.
Most people say, oh, well, he was an ineffective president, but he did good stuff later. And I'm like, that's the wrong order. I would like someone to be a really good president. And like, if you're a really good president, like for instance, let's say if you do Medicare for All as president, I think you should be allowed to have like a Caitlyn Jenner run someone over moment like every weekend for the rest of your life.
You get to do a Matthew Broderick.
Like, you get to do whatever you want afterwards, and it would never even the score, right? It would never even the score there. So I just think he got it in the wrong order. But I am also with Gavin in that Jimmy does give off a very good guy energy and a face and a vibe, and so that's easily tricked.
Who doesn't love a Southern Democrat?
We need to bring that back.
That's
a little Frank Underwood.
A little 28.
We need on Netflix.
And I was like, fuck, this guy had a straight up Southern accent. Like, you don't hear that like classic deep Georgia accent these days as much. But he had that fucking down.
Draw runs like sap down.
I'm surprised he couldn't talk his way out of whatever the fuck Nicaraguan scandal you were just describing.
Oh no, that was in Pakistan. Nicaragua was later with
Sorry, you know what I'm talking about.
And don't forget about.
I'm surprised he couldn't more effectively, talk his way out of that hole. With that.
But the thing is that dude, Ronald Reagan, we all obviously hate him for what he did. He was a son of a bitch to run against, man, and he was really famous because he'd been on TV, and there was about no other circumstance in history that would have allowed Jimmy Carter to become president except for the Watergate scandal. And once that had kind of run its course, all of those things kind of came back, and they portrayed him as being an unserious president, and that's one of the most effective things that Ronald Reagan did, and it's baffling given the fact that he was an actor at one point, but he had been governor of California, and he did have institutional backing in the Republican Party behind him. And what Ronald Reagan did was he portrayed him as a guy who was in over his head, who couldn't actually manage to run a country, who had caused us all these problems, and we needed somebody that was tough, that was going to come in and deal with it, and that's why the people voted dramatically for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan sort of was like Camp David wouldn't have gone down if I'd been there. He did a little bit of a Mark Wahlberg 9/11 there. But yeah, so that's the legacy, and a big who cares. I don't know. Like, I feel like most of these things would have probably been done by most of these evil presidents who was ever in there, and a lot of these balls were rolling already. It's not like he like invented any specific bad idea or whatever, but he was a homie on Palestine, and I've forgiven.
That came later, though.
Well, yeah, but guess I've forgiven a lot of people who surprised me by being free Palestine. You know, I'm like, oh, you know what? You've been kind of a piece of shit to me my whole life, but that's cool that you're free Palestine. So that's a big tent once you're free Palestine, you know. But I guess another Hamas member has been downed at this point. I guess because I'm seeing a lot of the Palestine stuff go viral. So, you know, the Israel accounts have to be like, actually, here's a threat on Jimmy Carter being the most anti-Semitic president ever. So they're taking Jimmy down now. So we don't have to. They've got it covered.
Yeah, he would have lived to be 150, but goddamn it.
Yeah, exactly. He would have.
Also, is there some way I could change my microphone setting, or is that not possible?
Yeah. Click on your mic at the bottom. And there should be other options.
It's saying I can't switch.
You can't mute while recording, but you can't switch mics while recording. Are you on the wrong mic?
Yeah, I think I'm on my just MacBook. If you guys don't think it's that bad, it's not that big
so
of a deal.
it's not it's not unusable. I'm gonna make you keep holding the microphone, okay? Even though it's not working.
That's fine. No,
I'm kidding.
don't care.
I'm kidding.
I was like,
can you get a second microphone? You know, neither of them are working.
But there's no way to switch it from your side or anything.
Hello, that's actually a good question. Zach, ring up this next story. Let's get into actual stories, because I don't give a fuck about this old peanut farmer man. He did nothing for me, okay? He lived to 100. He won. That's great, whatever. Let's get to the real stuff. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is all over the place, and so is Vivek. There's a lot that's been happening between this MAGA civil war with Vivek and Elon and every other stupid person in the world. But I just wanted to check in with something a little more recent to kind of bring us in before we break down what happened, which is that Laura Loomer now wants to Luigi Vivek, which I think is amazing.
God. Here we go.
Let's go. Oh no, she wants to. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread this. She wants to Luigi Elon Musk. That's what's happening here. She's joined the resistance. Let me zoom on this here. Laura Loomer says, "I understand Luigi Mangione now." Yeah, Laura Loomer has been going all out.
Oh yeah, Laura Loomer is doing takedown towards Elon Musk. I think that the reality is setting in that for a lot of the people who didn't pay attention to Trump 2016 at all and have decided to go full bore Trump 2024, they're learning every single lesson that the original brigade of the people that showed up to the dance with Donald Trump learned, which it's really about who is in the closest proximity to Donald Trump.
Like physically literally around him.
Who is kissing his ass with a bankroll attached to it the most. Yeah. And how does he need you in that moment, right? Where does he see himself strategically? You have to understand, everybody, Donald Trump, like him or not, he's out for himself. But when it comes to planning his next move, he's like playing chess, not checkers. Okay, so what he's doing is he's saying, I needed all these people to get elected, right? Now who do I need now that I'm in office, right? I don't need Elon anymore. I don't need his money. I already used that on my campaign. I have a war chest again. I'm gonna build it up over the next 4 years. I'm safe. I'm not running for re-election now. Get the fuck out of my face. Who do I need? I need the people who are going to help me accomplish whatever kind of feeble goals I have.
Well, you could say that, Zach, but he seems to have already flipped the script there. I've got right here, Trump supports immigration visas backed by Musk. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. It's incredible. So he seems to be actually backing the tech side here.
Even though that's not even the right visa, right? As far as the people on his properties, those are like more lower level.
Right. Yes.
Folks.
Donald Trump's not using H-1B visas.
Yeah, it's not like the
fact check.
That's what I read, at least.
We got to get it to Mar-a-Lago and start checking people's visas, figuring out who's doing
but
what
it's just
over
funny.
there.
He's just like using that as like a catch-all for any legal immigrant, essentially. When in reality, that is a specific kind. That's usually exploited by the tech industry. People like Musk, not hotel proprietors.
Which is so funny because he rails against Silicon Valley, but now that he's ponied up with them, he's taking on their battles with them. So you're right that he might need Elon Musk, but he doesn't need Laura Loomer anymore. He doesn't need, whomever. They're getting sloppy Steve Bannons right now. He doesn't, need the people who got him to the dance. He's just going to show up and kind of go where the wind blows him.
Yeah, and Laura Loomer is not blowing him anymore. So I want to rewind a little bit here. Just kind of set some more up of how this all happened, how this whole tech versus the populist MAGA, how that's kicked off. And it really started from a few tweets from Elon, a few things from Vivek, but mainly this tweet from Vivek, where he breaks down a little bit about American culture.
This shit is so funny.
And I really just wanted to read it. It's bars. Oh, you got to hear. Perfect.
This shit is so fucking.
Okay. So he goes. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American. Yeah, exactly. American IQ.
American.
A lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word: culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and we're really serious about fixing the problem. We have to confront the truth. So he gets into this whole thing about how American culture is bad. And he says, to go on here, to skip over a little bit.
Really quickly, though, we have to talk about how this guy does not know his audience at all. He does not know his audience at all. He's busting out the word venerated. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They don't even know what mediocrity means. They're like, what in the hell is this fancy talk? Get this brown guy out of here. We need some Trump action. Can't stump the Trump. Stump the Trump.
I do think he's kind of speaking to a specific demographic, like the PBD folks and the people that like worship, entrepreneurship.
That's
and,
right, Gavin.
Getting up in the morning and sucking today's dick and all that kind of bullshit.
Right.
So I do think that there is a subsect of MAGA that kind of gets down with this, but I think he goes too far, as you guys are probably about to see.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Also, guys, again, 90s, come on, like a culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World and Zack and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers.
I'm a Steve Urkel engineer.
Maybe it's like a generational thing, but I didn't even really get any of these references.
That was what the point I was making.
It seems like Vivek spends a lot more time watching these sitcoms than most normal people do, because again, I don't even understand most of the references.
That's an age thing. This is millennial versus
they came out
Zoomer.
30 years ago.
This is Vivek is watching like Disney Channel original movies. I don't even know if they have that now.
Gavin and I were actually just talking about DComs the other day.
For someone who's so against this fucking culture, he seems very familiar with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's like, Boy Meets World, and we hate Mr. Feeney, and he's like doing really like specific references within them.
Also, is Vivek an immigrant? Was he born? He was born in America, right? Because he ran for president.
Damn, we need some.
Yeah, he was born in America.
He was born in America, and he's not even a businessman. He's like, he got a bunch of money to like fuck up some weird drug company or something that turned into a total bust. And then he just like, the thing is, he's talented at public speaking. If you like a student council president, he is slightly talented at that.
Also, did you see that picture of his his feet? He was wearing these dress shoes that were like way too big because he's probably self-conscious about his small feet and small hands and shit.
Yeah, he's doing like DeSantis stuff, which it's like, you don't need to do that, man. But I want to go back because Zach is so right. Like, this is the biggest misread ever. Like, even if you do believe all this stuff, you don't say it to the crowd that you've been like bending over backwards to suck off. Like, you've been like retweeting every fucking Babylon Bee article. You let Ann Coulter be like, you should be my slave that works in my bathroom. And he's like, I humbly disagree. But this is why we have discussions, and this is why we talk to each other.
In America, you're allowed to think somebody else should be your slave, but fortunately, they are not allowed to implement that unless they pay you to do it.
Yes. In Bitcoin. So the the thing is like, I can't believe this misread here. It seems to really have come out of nowhere, and it is like talking about this specific part where he says, a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. And I have to say, like, the movie...
Look at your president! Look at your president! Like, what the hell is the matter with you? I'm sorry to cut you off, Griffin, but I'm just that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Like, what are you talking about, dude? You just fundamentally misunderstood every single thing that took place before us, right? This was the Vince McMahon presidency. This was the comeback tour. This was the, I'm switching teams and I'm moving over, and this is the Hulk Hogan turnaround. Do you guys
yeah. This is
D-Beck
the
missed all of that.
Yeah.
He was so oblivious. All he was like, oh, this is going to be good for my taxes. Thank God, everybody. You know what? I am going to rise to the top of this vulnerable party by giving speeches like this. He didn't stop to look around and take a single cursory look at the people who were showing up at these Trump rallies. They wanted to be the prom king. And when they weren't the high school quarterback, or maybe they were and now they're not shit, like, that is the entire basis of their politics. That is the politics of resentment.
But you don't know because you haven't seen any of these movies or TV shows, so you're just guessing there. But this could actually be your politics. All these could be like leftist shows. You have no idea.
I actually have seen all of those shows because I used to wake up early in the morning, and
It seems like Vivek's the real resentful
expert
one, though. If you read his post, it sounds like he's salty because when he was in high school, he didn't get any pussy. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I got A's, but everyone was paying more attention to the jock or something. That's
the thing. That's what I wanted to zero in on.
Why are you
still being like high school shit?
Yeah. Like, can you believe this chick that I had a crush on? She went for the hot jock instead of me, even though I was a jock in my own right, in the mathletes, a jock of the mind, that's what he's probably still fucking salty about. And
jock
no
your
amount
mind.
No amount of money can ever buy his way out of that shame. That's why he has to wear shoes that are too big and stuff.
Yeah,
I really think it all comes back to not getting any pussy with the Republican Party. I think
that's what I'm saying.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The other hard truth is that at this point in the world that's being created with these fucking tech companies and this fucking AI and all this shit, jocks are probably better people than the new nerds. The new nerds are really evil. And the nerds are the billionaires and the worst people. The jocks are trying to sell you a used car.
Yeah, fixing your fucking roof or something. They're actually doing helpful things.
Tom Joad is a jock, everyone. Listen when I tell you this. The working class jocks, brawny, okay?
Yeah, and
it
so
is true though. A lot of the quote unquote smartest people, they just go sell out. You know what I'm saying? They don't actually enrich humanity. They don't contribute to. They don't become I'm gonna go cure cancer or whatever. They basically just sell out and go work. What's that shit Pete Buttigieg worked for? McKinsey or whatever.
McKinsey, dude. Yes.
That's where they fucking go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just go to make the most money and then sell out and use their talents for nefarious.
Sometimes they go to Raytheon or Boeing.
Right.
It's not
diverse.
Boeing anymore.
It's diverse. Yeah. No, it's not just one company. It's three. So it's so funny that it's just he's kind of he spent so much. Let's just think strategically for a second here. He spent so much fucking time sucking up to these people. Did he think this was gonna go a different way, or does he care enough about this that these people with this shit and I guess he kind of predicted it right.
I think he predicted it right, and I think you guys
because Trump already bent over on it. Trump already said, "I love H-1B."
I think his audience is gonna follow Trump's lead no matter what, and so I think Elon and Vivek and Patrick Bet-David, all those guys that came out and we were like, no, H-1B, I'll die on this hill, fuck all of you, you're doing DEI, you're doing wokeness, all that kind of stuff. I feel like they're going to be validated only because Donald Trump was yeah, fuck all the poors, I'm siding with the rich guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
also just feel like they're kind of banking on the fact that this is happening like everyone's gonna have forgotten about this by the time that like Kash Patel is being confirmed by the Senate and stuff. You know what I mean? Like by the time that all that more juicy, exciting stuff that the base is really going to get invested in, and they're going to start clamoring for recess appointments and like just a completely undemocratic takeover of the government. They're not going to be talking about this shit. They're going to be like talking about all these morons like Kash Patel and people like that. That's my opinion. But who knows? Hopefully they keep beating the drum, I suppose, just for the sake of the MAGA civil war.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I've got a clip of Laura Loomer coming up next. I did want to read this Elon tweet here. He says, "The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong."
You got to pause more. The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people.
I'm going to kill myself.
SpaceX. That's how he talks. He's like pretends to think through every word he says.
Yeah, take a big step and fuck yourself in the face. I will go to war in this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. So it's like they kind of like won. It seems like he's still like running the show here or whatever, and kind of willing to say already fuck you to MAGA. I thought this was going to blow up for them, but let's also then take a listen here to our girl Laura Loomer in this new clip. Where she is reacting to all of this. Let's take a listen right here.
I always forget she has a fucking like podcast.
I think this is on one of
News Nation.
This is on a show. This should be on our show.
And what we need to have a conversation about
is this is a war room.
For the future of our country, our national security, and the incoming Trump administration, if we have a bunch of technocrats who are also essentially welfare queens because their companies are receiving government subsidies and they want to take over our defense industry.
We need to, the way that they're racist to poor people, we need them to be racist against Elon with the welfare queen stuff. I love that.
We have a bunch of tech bros with billions of dollars and direct unfettered access to the vice president and the president of the United States. And then they are also, very cordial with our adversaries, as in China and Iran. We see that Elon Musk is having these meetings off the books with Iranian officials, with Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future?
Can you pause it? She's like, I'm sorry, but the thing about Laura Loomer is even when she's saying correct things, it's like, are you the dumbest bitch alive? Are you so stupid? Like, you're talking to Steve Bannon, who is the other dumbest, stupid bitch alive.
How dare you?
He is so fucking willing to be deluded and deceived and spoon-fed poppycock. It's like he literally already lived this. He's like, this has happened before. It's Groundhog Day for Steve Bannon. He knows exactly what happens. Donald Trump rallies up a base of angry white folks who are poor to get into office, and then he sells them down the fucking river as soon as they're no longer needed for 4 years, right? He immediately gave tax cuts for the rich. He didn't do a single thing that he promised to do on healthcare. There was no infrastructure. The new NAFTA bill was not pro-worker. He, did absolutely nothing else. It was basically a lame duck presidency until he dared Pelosi to pass the checks, and she did.
Okay, but what if she's a baby leftist that's getting into leftism for the first time? She's putting on her tricycles and she's starting to watch Hasanabi on Twitch. We don't know. Like everyone's veil is unmasked at different times. Maybe she's finally seen The Wizard of Oz. Let's finish this clip before we get Gavin's reaction.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay, hang on.
With Chinese officials. What does that mean for us and the future of our constitutional republic?
Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay, hang on a second. I want to go back because I missed JD on Dark Enlightenment. First off,
whoa, what's Dark Enlightenment?
Right.
That sounds awesome. We got it
in the background too. Lord.
Yeah. But Gavin, what are we to make of this? Will MAGA get up, stand up for their rights?
No, I don't think that they're going to do shit. I mean, I can't believe that anyone believes otherwise.
No fucking way.
It wasn't that long ago that, like, Donald Trump was fucking president, and we watched him shit in the fucking mouth of his base over and over again with, like, John Bolton and all this shit, like, constantly, appointing people and doing policies that they disagreed with, including COVID. Like, the funniest thing to me is that everyone who claims to care the most about COVID and the vaccine and thinks it's like the #1 scandal of all time, they just voted back in the dude who is responsible for all of that, right? like all of that shit. If we have another fucking pandemic with bird flu and stuff, he's going to be in charge of it again, and he's going to do the same shit that they all had an issue with.
Not only did he do it, I can't get over it. He did it to Steve Bannon. He did it to the guy who was just like, I wonder if he's going to do it. Not only did he do it, he fired you, he kicked you out of the administration, and he publicly humiliated you and called you Sloppy Steve to reporters. Like, what the hell else do you want? He spit on your name. He said that guy didn't have anything to do with my rise to power at all when it was a 90-10 split. It was Donald Trump's name, persona, and attitude, and Sloppy Steve like running everything else behind the show.
I think it's a cute nickname. I think it's a friendly nickname. And I do think, it's like a lot of people like Steve, and all these people are just trying to pretend like because they were aware of what happened. Like they didn't get like eternal sunshine or whatever the fuck, or like severanced the memory of the last presidency. So yeah, I don't know like what they're gonna do about all this. But yeah, it just seems like Trump is just like doesn't care at all. But like my question is at this point, why does he care at all about Elon? Because we're about to get into a different Elon story, but like why? Like at this point, you've got the money, you've got the presidency. Like why are you putting your neck out for this guy?
I think he's just a lazy piece of shit and wants to outsource most of the work to people that he views as like serious and capable of being in charge. And to him, it's just like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and all these kind of like rich assholes that he's turning the government over to. But yeah, I don't really think he cares. I don't think he has much of an ideology when it comes to this stuff. I think he's pretty easily convincible or bought off, as we saw with like TikTok and, crypto and all that kind of stuff. So I just, I don't even think it's as much corruption as it is just about Trump being lazy as fuck and Elon being the, most, the squeakiest wheel in the room.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I also think it's just that when he relents back to his baseline, all of the populist coded rhetoric, all of the economic populism, all of everything kind of is a facade. It all falls away. And what is he left with? He's left with his real allegiances, and that is to the upper crust. That's to the aristocracy. Those are the people that he thinks should be in charge, because he would never leave the keys to a regular working class minded person because he wants to be able to have advantages. One thing that people constantly forget about is that Donald Trump had a career for like 45 fucking years before he decided to become president, and it was very public, and it was all about trying to get massive tax exemptions for his huge buildings in Manhattan. You're a New Yorker, Griffin. You know way more about this than me, probably. But he would try and get he would get like 40 years worth of tax abatements, and he wouldn't have to pay taxes for 40, 50 years on it. It would be worth like hundreds of millions of dollars in New York real estate taxes, and he would get it for free. And if he didn't get it, he would go to war with the mayor and the press, and he loved to lock horns, and he loved to act like he was the real guy that was in charge of New York, and he wanted New York to be big, and he wanted it to be the best, but he wanted the taxpayers to bankroll it, not him. And he wanted
why
to be able
do that for why do that for someone else though? Like that's like he's doing it for someone else's fucking rockets. It's a little cucked. It's a little.
He's allowing them to do it for their own rockets, and that's because he wants it to. He wants to make sure that the ladder is brought up behind him. He was like, okay, I got in, and now I have to make sure that they don't actually. That's why he gets rid of guys like Sloppy Steve. Anybody who might have a single streak of actual populism, he doesn't want around. He wants Marco Rubio with the keys. He wants Pete Hegseth with the keys.
No, I get that. My point is like the wall. That's like obviously that's like. That made sense for Trump because like if he built it, that would be like that's Trump's wall. But like none of
but he never did.
I know, but he never did. But at least in the idea, I get why Trump would like that because it's something of his. But like all this shit just seems like he's doing it for this weird, annoying guy. Like it doesn't seem like there's nothing that's like, oh, it's the Trump rockets. Like maybe that's what he promised him, that they'd be called the Trump rockets. Like I hope he's getting something out of this fucking deal. Is my point.
I really kind of agree with Gavin in the sense that what he's getting out of this deal is he gets to be president. He will, no matter what, take credit for whatever is accomplished. This is another famous thing about Donald Trump. When in the 80s, I watched an entire docuseries about him while I was sick, so I have all this not fresh to trot information, right? Bragging. He promised a skating rink in Central Park, right? And it was like, oh, I'm going to deliver it. I'm going to deliver it faster than anybody else. Anyway, gets this company from New Jersey. They come out and do it. They're like, it's going to be huge. I'm doing this thing with Donald Trump. It's going to be for all these New Yorkers. And Donald Trump gets them to do it for free and says that it'll be for publicity, and all of the publicity that they get for it. He then names it the like Trump skating rink or whatever, and doesn't even mention the name of the company that did it one time. That's how he rolls. He's just going to be like, this is my presidency. He knows the history books don't have time for guys like Elon Musk when they're talking about political accomplishments. It's going to be Donald Trump was president. Oh, who was president when that happened?
I feel like you're not answering my question, but that's okay. Like, but maybe there isn't a good answer. And I'm just wondering, like, what does he get out of specifically bending over for Elon? Like,
he had to make the deal to get the
at this
job.
Point, no, but he has the job now. Like, why does he still have to supplicate himself for this? You know, that's my question, I guess. Like, what's
because it's not just Elon with the H-1B visas. It's the entire tech business model, and he's siding with the class of people that need to have worker bees versus the people who are the worker bees, and he'll always do that.
And that's who he actually hangs out with. That's like who comes to Mar-a-Lago and shit. Like
the nerds.
Hanging out with the fucking
the fucking nerds.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's who's sucking his dick behind the scene. People like Mark Zuckerberg, even.
Yes.
You know?
We need to fill Mar-a-Lago with jocks, big jocks. Trump loves football teams. We need to just fill it with sweaty big guys for a while. They can fucking knock out all these fucking nerds. But I wanted to move on to one last Elon thing because I wanted to get both of your guys' takes on this. And that is Elon Andrew Dittman? Andrew Dittman? Whatever the fuck it is.
Isn't it Adrian, right?
I think it's wrong in our YouTube title. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to respect him by saying it right. But I wanted your guys' audio analysis. A lot of people have been saying that he's using this alt. Now, he has been caught with alts in the past. Like, famously, he admitted that he's been role-playing as a toddler on one account. We actually covered this a long time ago on the show. But he has made an alt in the past where he was like, oh, goo goo gaga, I'm a baby. So it's not above him or past him to have an alt. But recently there's been this guy named Adrian Dittman that's been trolling around and sounds a little bit like him. I have my opinion. I want to hear yours. Let's listen to a little clip.
More than anyone. By the way, we know that there's several federal grand juries going on against Elon as we speak on the self-driving car fraud that he did, which killed people on our freeways. So yeah, we can have a conversation about Elon.
100%, man. I think I understand what your position is. You just hate Elon, and you're just looking for an outlet to push
I don't.
He's not a criminal. You're fucking idiot.
Oh my god. You're fucking no. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
You sound like the discount rip-off Wish.com version of Keith Olbermann who wants to fucking arrest everyone just because they don't agree politically.
Ooh, a Keith Olbermann reference? That's looking very Elon.
I think so. I've actually
You're like more pathetic than he is because he actually has a job.
I've seen the files on Elon, as have a lot of people who are in here who've done intelligence work. We know that he's very close to the
intelligence work. He's sounding very smooth brain for that kind of level of work. Just saying that.
We know it. It's not a secret. And by the way, increasingly we're doing analysis on people using voice modulation technology on X. So we know who.
You know how retarded you're gonna sound when, like, one day who I am is gonna come to the surface and you realize how wrong you are about all this.
We already know who you are. Just to be very clear about
who
that.
am I?
By the way,
who am I?
Elon Musk. Who am I? And we know it full well because we've had your.
This guy is so fucking stupid.
All right, that's the first one. So audio experts, podcasters, we have our ears in the cans a lot. What is your guys' takes? Is this the one and only Elon Musk?
Obviously.
You think so?
Yeah. Easy answer.
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, you know, AI, artificial intelligence, you know.
Okay, well, it's either Elon or it's an AI controlled by Elon.
No, I was kidding. It's 100% Elon.
So if it's not literally Elon, it's a highly advanced AI version of Elon that he's unleashing on.
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, let's unpack that, Gavin. How would he execute that?
Well, they have that grok thing, and it wouldn't be that hard to take just every.
Wow, he grokked it.
You know, every minute of Elon Musk speaking out there and create a simulation that could perform. I don't think it would be that hard. And apparently, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram is preparing to flood. Oh shit, you have that right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was picking up what you were putting down, Gavin. Rock and roll.
They're about to add a ton of AI-generated users, as Culture Crave says. So you know, it's not crazy to think that X, and Elon Musk is doing the same shit, just kind of more covertly, I suppose. And this could be a beta version, or not even a beta version, but just like a pretty developed version. There was a clip, I don't know if you have it, Griffin, but Adrian and Elon were like speaking to each other, quote unquote, in a Twitter space, presumably to like disprove the fact that they're the same person.
I don't have that one. Zach can pull that one up in a second. While he's pulling that up, I do have a clip of Elon of Adrian talking to Destiny, where we might have got him to slip about rocket fuel. Let's take a listen here.
Physics. I can't really talk to you about the nature of inflammatory rhetoric if we're not able to dive into the political issues that are underlying all of the rhetoric itself. So it's hard.
No, we can definitely talk about rocket fuel in the sense, right? Your kind of rocket fuel is solid here, but it also is the wrong type of rocket fuel for the rocket that you want to run. It's actually an inferior version of that same rocket fuel that I'm using right now, which is actually also liquid.
Yeah, but I disagree that it's inferior. I think it's cheaper.
So he says that he is using rocket fuel right now. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get out for a while, and I was talking to a few different people about this because this guy has popped up over like the last year, and my thought was it's actually a much sadder answer than an Elon alt, that it's like an Elon sycophant that like just hit the attention lottery and like does sound a lot like him and is like kind of flirting around it or whatever. But the mountain of evidence continues to stack.
This one gives it away for me, Gavin. I'm not sure if you saw this one, but it's like, I hope at Adrian Dittman isn't Elon Musk. Adrian was unhinged on several spaces lately, and Elon Musk comes in and replies, in what way? If he's not this Adrian Dittman character, why would he give a shit?
Because a lot of people do think it's him.
Because unfortunately Elon does have a bunch of deranged, pathetic simp man that spend every day defending him. So it's like not out of the question. But this one in particular kind of raised my alarms a little bit and made me raise more than one eyebrow. So this is an image of Elon Musk and his son. Now, which by itself would have just been, I mean, he brings his son out whenever he's in trouble, which is amazing. Right. I like that. More celebrities should do that.
Human shield.
Yeah, he's using a human shield. Exactly. My son, little X, loves clinging precariously to my back and yelling monkey rides. All right, that sounds like chat fucking GPT. But Adrian Dittman replies, "You're an amazing father, Elon. Your kids are very lucky to have you." Which I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. It's all fun and games, though, until Elon Musk and Adrian were in the same room together.
Okay, let's do this. Now, this is like, there's a lot of famous movie scenes like this. Yeah, this is kind of like the end of Annihilation, the third act.
No spoilers, bro.
In the lighthouse.
I mean, honestly, I don't believe you're not me.
Yeah, that's a theory. That's a theory. People think I'm legitimately your clone. There's been theories that I'm one of your Neuralink experiments. Can you like clarify that I'm not one of your Neuralink experiments, or maybe I am and I wouldn't realize it? Because that shit's vast. How are your monkeys?
Well,
how are your monkeys? I don't know. How's the test subject?
Well, the weird thing is you even ask questions in the way that I would ask questions.
Autism.
And your sense of humor is quite similar sense of humor.
You see, the more he gets warmed up to being Elon Musk, and the more he actually sounds like Elon, whereas he's kind of intentionally, in my view, making his voice sound a little different. I don't know. I think this only makes it worse, the fact that he's doing this to try and get away with it. I'm calling it. This is his Kevin Durant moment. He was caught with a fake Twitter account. Move on.
This scene reminds me of the scene in like Alien Covenant where the Fassbenders meet and make out, except I'm not turned on by this one. I mean, so explain that. How would this one work? Is this like he's playing audio recordings on one end and trying to talk over the second voice to have some sort of cross play with the voice? What's the technical
if you had
aspect
two
here?
Phones in front of you, one's logged into one account and one's logged into the other.
No, I get logging into two accounts, but the voices overlap.
Barely.
Someone said that for one, a lot of the over, like a lot of that laughter and stuff in the background seems to be coming from other people in the call. I couldn't tell how much of that was Elon. And then some people said also like he could easily just have a soundboard with a bunch of like laugh and
yeah. He's just like pushing buttons that are just like, I love you. Like you are a great father.
Autism.
I mean, he clearly has enough time on his hands to figure something like that out. Like he is an idiot, but he's also like, I mean, I'm sure he's tech savvy enough with this AI shit to figure it out. It's not that hard of a parlor trick to pull off if you really wanted to.
No, his assistant probably did it for him anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so we're saying that's a parlor trick.
It is possible it's someone else though. I'm not like, I'm not 100% sure, but it does seem very weird.
If you guys were in 12 Angry Men and you're sitting there and you have to convict Elon of having a burner or not having a burner, are you guys hung jury or are you convicting?
That's a terrible reference. You are not understanding the themes of 12 Angry Men. They convicted too quickly. That's what you're the original 12 Angry Men. I need to make you less angry.
See, that wasn't the point that I was making. I was running a direct. It wasn't a commentary on the film.
He meant to kill a mockingbird.
I need you to watch. I need you to get on juror number 2. Eastwood will set you straight.
Oh yeah, I need to see that shit.
It was sick. This is Nicholas Holt's era. But Elon Musk confirms and Gizmodo that he's been role playing as a toddler for years. So I don't know.
He looks like the kind of guy that would eat a lot of hot dogs at a 4th of July party in this photo.
Yeah, he looks like a better version of himself. This is definitely pre-Ozempic for sure.
This is the kind of Elon that if I would have just seen him on the side of the street, I would have been like, "What's up, bro? Like, I could drink a beer with you, bro." Like, he hadn't lost all the soul in him. He's a little pudgy. I find him a little more welcoming in that sense.
If there's one thing I'm thinking a lot about is how do I have a beer with MAGA? How do I have a beer and a shot and an espresso martini with MAGA?
When we disagree, we fight.
We fight.
Then we have a beer after it.
Then we have a beer, and then we do some K, and then we play Diablo 4. I wanted to get into a little something different. Let's mix it up. I'm trying to blow the whistle. Do. And we've got OpenAI whistleblower dead. You guys been tracking this story?
I have been tracking this story very much.
This story very much. Nosferatu. Okay, let's check it out. So this is the parents of the dead whistleblower.
Last person to talk to him. He was happy mood. He's not depressed or anything. And it was his birthday week.
He made plans of going to CES in January. That was the last phone conversation he had with anyone. He went into his apartment. He never came out. There was no suicide note left. And there is nobody else in the scene. That doesn't mean they can just come to conclusion. And we have seen the bloodshots in the bathroom, signs of fight in the bathroom.
Vigil organizers say they're honoring Balaji's bravery and raising awareness to corporate accountability in artificial intelligence.
I was the...
All right. So yeah, they killed him.
We have some breaking news, actually, from the RFK campaign, and I would like to let you know that we're working tirelessly around the clock to investigate this, but we've tied this whistleblower assassination to Saran, and I was the first one to be notified.
Because he's Indian?
The history of my family. How dare you, sir? Shame on you. This is a serious matter.
Was Sirhan an H-1B visa member? Is that why they brought him in?
Saran was a pawn of your own government, boy. Sit down. We're talking.
All right.
About a serious issue.
Yeah, we are.
And I would just like everyone to know that I've got a worm on it, and we're going to get more shortly.
We're putting a worm on that one.
God damn it. Somebody kept in and fucking messed with my shit. Anyway, what happened to the whistleblower?
So it seems like RFK now is not outside of health is also putting him in charge of any potential assassination. I do like that. Gavin, what is your take? Are we in an era where the companies are realizing that they can pretty much kill anyone at any time?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they totally got away with the Boeing assassinations. Remember, like 3 people just got straight up killed. No one even talks about it anymore.
Yeah.
Also, I did a little further investigation into the plane that crashed in South Korea, and it was a Boeing, and they did have faulty equipment in there caused by a bird. They blamed it on a bird flying in there. I'm like, if a bird causes you to not be able to drop your landing, like obviously the wall shouldn't have been there. If the wall wasn't there, everybody would have lived. But it was still faulty Boeing equipment that caused.
The bird flew into the plane in the first like 5 seconds of it taking off.
I feel okay. I have a hot.
I have
take,
no idea.
But isn't that also how like I feel like that the plane should be able to outdo a bird.
That's what I'm saying.
But also, isn't that how we got Captain Sully, which is a very heartwarming American film? Like that's why that plane went down. And if you think about it, if they make the planes too good, then we're not going to get good movies about the disasters. And I don't know what.
That's why we should let our pilots do coke.
Clint Eastwood directed films.
I'm not ready to tell Tom Hanks, hey, your career's done. Sit this next one out. I need him to be in all of our transportation disaster movies. But yeah, I mean, it really does seem like they killed this guy and that he was warning about artificial intelligence.
I prefer Whip Whitaker to Sully, by the way. Whip Whitaker had more panache.
I'm
also more of a Denzel guy. He was like all coked up and on drugs and shit, and he still landed the plane.
That's the flight guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an argument for like drinking and driving. Some people need a little buzz.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to make it hard, you have to legalize cocaine only for pilots when they're in the air, though. Otherwise, that guy would have never gotten down. He would have never been able to handle that if he wasn't balancing with the perfect cocktail of a few beers and a few bumps.
Yeah. And so, he obviously was killed for saying something about artificial intelligence. I actually don't know. Do any of you guys know exactly what he was saying, or was it the generic "they're going to kill us all"? Because I did see another AI whistleblower expert today on the timeline. Like he said that there's like a 20% chance that AI like destroys humanity by like 2054 or some shit. And Elon Musk replied to it and was like, "That's actually true." So I don't know. Like the AI stuff is so depressing. I really try to pretend it's not happening. I know we've talked about that before. But AI apocalypse. What do you guys think? Is that real? And how do we feel about Elon sort of like being also worried about the AI apocalypse?
I mean, Elon Musk will just say anything that sounds, attention grabbing. Like I remember like 10 years ago when he was all obsessed with talking about how we live inside of a simulation and shit like that, So I feel like I wouldn't really take anything he has to say about it seriously. He's always just going to say whatever seems attention grabbing, like I mentioned. But I mean, it is terrible.
I think we might have lost Gavin for a second.
Oh no, our AI program of Gavin is breaking. We need to fix our program.
No, government, don't whistle again. He's not a whistleblower. He's kidding. He was just telling a funny joke.
We lost you for a sec, Gav. It's okay. We kind of got your point, I think.
Yeah, I keep having these weird internet connection issues where it like takes me out and then I can't hear you guys, but it's whatever.
So you're saying Elon is going to save us in the world from AI?
Yeah, also, I did look at the Suchir Balaji guy and what he leaked and what he was able to whistleblow for the New York Times. Apparently, he was talking about how they were flagrantly violating U.S. copyright law at ChatGPT. Furthermore, he charged that ChatGPT would render many people and firms commercially unviable by utilizing their content to make improvements to OpenAI's artificial intelligence system until those systems were no longer needed and the shit was sufficiently trained. In October 2024, Balaji expressed concerns saying, "If you believe what I believe, then you can't work for the company."
That doesn't even really sound like anything new, though. That's just like the most common critique of AI, like generative AI that's out there. Like, what did he actually blow the whistle on?
Yeah,
like I said, that's just like the most common critique ever.
Yeah, I think he just had receipts that showed that they were violating copyright law, so the New York Times ran with it, obviously. But yeah, I mean, all of us kind of know that. I mean, Sarah Silverman's involved in a lawsuit right now because they used a bunch of comedy writers from New York with stand-up sets that were on like Netflix and other easy to access platforms, and they trained them to do stand-up with AI, and they didn't pay anybody for it, and now they're gonna try and use that to profit off of, which is obviously stealing.
Yeah, it's like where are the agents and the managers in Hollywood? They have let the theft of the century like happen to their clientele. Like what happened to what's his face from Entourage? We need that type of agent back in the system that won't let themselves
You
get
need
fucked.
a Jerry Maguire.
We need some serious agents back in this field. But yeah, I just the AI, the doomerism. I want to find an AI optimist that's going to tell me it's going to be all okay. My personal hope right now is that it actually just becomes too expensive with electricity, and like maybe the energy wars destroy the ability to do AI just simply because we don't have enough electricity. That's my hope. Maybe climate change comes in.
100%. Sorry, I just saw somebody steal my tweet on Twitter, so I had to screenshot
what
it so
the
I can
fuck?
make fun of them later.
Okay, let's stop the show. I wanted to get to two fun grab bag stories to round out our episode this week, gentlemen.
Sasquatch.
Okay, well, you can do Sasquatch. I'm going to do this one then.
All right, go for
so I came across a character that I haven't seen before. And, you know, we love characters on this show, and I kind of wanted to add him to our lexicon. This gentleman here is the guy that makes the suits for Jordan B. Peterson. He's the guy that dresses. He's sort of he's the phantom thread to Jordan Peterson's swag, okay? And he was on our favorite podcast, Trigonometry, talking about what it's like to be a man. And so we'll do a little outfit review.
Here's what frightens me about having a female leader in a time of war. Specifically.
It's a good starting point to get going.
Men inherently, and I'm talking like at our DNA level, we understand that war is death. Because men have to fight and die in wars. Women have never had to do that. Like women, you know, even in Ukraine now, all the Ukrainian women have boyfriends in Germany and Dubai. Like they just left. And I see that all the time, right? Because I travel all the time and I meet Ukrainian women in coffee shops all over the world these days. Women, like as a man, I know that if like a war comes and I can't leave the country, like my passport, this is where I'm at, like that's what's going to happen. There's going to be death. I'm not...
He does even sound a little bit like Peterson, doesn't he? So before we get into
They're probably riding the hobby horse, but go on.
Before we get into the crux of his argument about man and war here, let's break down the outfit. So we've got what I would describe as like kind of like a shirt Zach would wear with the floral, you know, something like something like a bartender might wear, like short sleeve, you know, but you wouldn't put a suit jacket over it. That's the problem. He's got like he's going for like a striped like female blazer look here.
The pinstripes with that disgusting algae green accent handkerchief. I don't understand. This is the way the right does fashion. I want get Die Workwear in here. Where's Derek? Get him in here. He's gonna rip this guy to shreds.
Yeah, he like wants to be assassinated by Die Workwear. He's like baiting him with this. I mean, what is the green algae? It does look like, just like a clump of sea moss that he stuffed in there. Very unsettling combination. Gavin, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It definitely isn't the most tasteful fit I've ever seen. I will say, though, I have a little bit of sympathy for Jordan Peterson and his suits. Or not sympathy, but I guess respect. You know, at least he's willing to express himself in a way that a lot of his conservative counterparts seem afraid to. He's not afraid to, you know, go out there and be like, I have this, you know, kind of bizarre taste in fashion. I dress like a Batman villain or some shit. So I do kind of fuck with it.
Yeah, I agree, Gavin. It's like
but lame as fuck, like just totally boring. Not that Peterson isn't also lame.
This is like Jordan B. Peterson like develops a kind of a evil villain swag look, and this is like the hand-me-downs, like all the pieces that like didn't get picked, like put together, like the rags of Jordan's.
Right.
And it's like, I'm sorry, like why, like these guys want to talk about being a man in war? It's like, brother, like
you wear that outfit at the same time.
You are in most countries a woman. You're a female blazer in this outfit.
Not sure that women necessarily have that same instinct, because if your village is raided and you lose the war, all the men get killed and all the women get taken basically as concubines. The women's DNA still continues.
What is their obsession with concubines? The right wing is in love with concubines right now. Like, ever since Jordan Peterson had to backpedal on, we shouldn't have like forced births, like we shouldn't do the handmaid style. Oh, every man gets a womb. Like, now they're just really into the idea of concubines. They're like, we need to conquer more territory so we can force these women to have sex with us.
We need to get the tightest Men's Warehouse female blazer on so that we can acquire a harem of concubines in Eastern Europe.
Their lives with technically, let's say, stronger men as determined by battle.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's not an optimal outcome per se, it's nonetheless not death and end of your bloodline. So I know that
Evil
as a
Mr.
man,
Beat
my
is
bloodline ends up losing their lives.
Trigonometry people too. It's so funny. They look like a middle-aged lesbian couple or something.
Oh, very
interesting.
It's actually Ellen DeGeneres once she moved to the UK. I'm not sure Portia where she's at, but she must have another housewife to keep around.
Ellen is looking very free and she's not holding all the stress in her body anymore. I think she's on to better pastures. And honestly,
she just let it out. Her and J.K. Rowling have been kicking it every day.
I don't want to even shade Ellen with this. At least Ellen put out some stand-up that's like legible. Like, this guy is like a failed stand-up comedian, I guess. We got to react to like one of his sets sometime.
Hey, but the wardrobe makes his ass look fantastic.
I love these guys. And I am trigonometried.
And I especially worry about women leaders that don't have male offspring.
I worry about women leaders when they don't have male offspring. Oh, you betcha I do.
Oh dear.
No. Well, speaking of folks who are bred for war, bred for battle.
Let's get to some.
Are you
real
ready
men.
to move on? Are you ready to hear about life among the Sasquatch? 2 Oregon men die from exposure in a forest after they went out.
Wait, what?
For Sasquatch.
I didn't read this story at all. What the fuck is this headline? Exposure? Like, what, just outdoor exposure or exposure to Sasquatch?
Well, Griffin, it's called reading between the lines. You gotta, let's dig deeper. Gavin, you've been keeping up with the Sasquatch sightings in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, I actually have not heard of this, but apparently they were found dead after they failed to return from a trip back. Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes without saying if they were found dead.
60 volunteers it took to recover their remains.
That's incredible.
And you know what? Gavin was actually presenting me a while ago with some compelling evidence that not only Sasquatch, but giants might be real.
Okay, hold on.
Well, it is.
Wait. Okay, go. All right. You know what? This doesn't need any structure. Let's go to the giants.
No, it is true that a lot of people believe giants exist now, which is crazy. It's a real sign of the decline.
It's because of YouTube Shorts. Take this off here. Oh wait, I lost you for a second. Go for it.
Oh, you're good, bro. You're good. I keep getting hit with these fucking connection issues. So
no, it's fine. You were spitting. Go for it.
Yeah. Either way, a lot of the Sasquatch stuff is tangentially related to the giant stuff, and some people just kind of use the myths and legends of Bigfoot to justify their belief in giants and shit like that. But either way, it is pretty funny to think about these guys just going out there to search for Sasquatch and just like, I mean, did they get lost in the woods? Is that what went down?
All right. Yeah, I mean, the art. Zach told me to read between the lines and read the article. The article didn't explain shit about the Sasquatch killing these guys. So we have to move on from the article and go to these giants.
Guys, you don't understand. Children.
Okay,
oh my
fine.
goodness.
But then I really want to talk about the
What have I
giants.
told you about reading between the lines? Did you not understand? Gavin understood the assignment, Griffin. It's about the lore, okay? It's about the folklore, okay? In the forest where Sasquatch roams. The people know the truth. Okay? And these 2 men, they saw something. Do you think the authorities just let you come back from that? You're out in Oregon. You spend a weekend with Sasquatch. You remembered your beef jerky. You remembered your cold beer. Everybody's having a fine time. But you got to keep your mouth shut. Okay? You can't come back to Portland and be like, oh, it's all Sasquatch. No! We've got it on footage. Are you kidding me? They're going to holler. Do you know how close Portland, Oregon is to Seattle, Washington?
I don't
the
even
same
know
guys that did Boeing did this, is what I'm telling you. Sasquatch wouldn't hurt a fly.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't know why you were yelling at me, but I was just trying to figure out what your opinion was on this. That's all That's all I wanted from this. I just was trying to figure out your opinion on this.
It was
I'm
the
scared.
government all along.
I didn't do this.
You should be afraid. Be afraid, man.
Okay. All right. So the Sasquatch maybe killed these people. It's a big cover
Sasquatch
up.
never hurt a fly. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Someone else killed them, and they're blaming it on the Sasquatch.
Of course, because they saw the Sasquatch. The government won't let you walk away from that.
Oh, okay. So they had to clean that up. I get that. They have some fixtures up there.
Exposure? Who dies from exposure on a picnic? Come on, fellas.
I completely agree. And I guess that maybe Sasquatches are back. Mythological creatures are back, as we alluded to earlier with the giants, because TikTok does seem to be bringing the mystical in where there is no religion in the modern era of America. There is on TikTok a new spiritual, mystical aspiration for something beyond our normal world. You know, I've seen a lot of astrologers on TikTok predict the election and stuff like that, and make all sorts of crazy. Telepathy is huge again.
Autistic kids are telepathic.
But Gavin did bring up the giants, and so I had to play one of my favorite giant videos, which is that a lot of people are saying the giants built Egypt.
Right.
So let's check.
Whoa, is that real? Real footage? How'd they find it? This is the kind of shit the government keeps locked away.
Whoa. Whoa. Look at that one.
This makes sense now.
This makes a lot of sense.
How else could they have done it? Literally zero other ways for them to have done it.
I don't think there's no historical ways. No one knows. But now YouTube Shorts has 4K video of it.
I can't believe they uncovered this, man.
They've been caught in 4K.
And a lot of these videos, they ask the AI, you know, how were the pyramids built, and then this is just what it gives them. So I mean, the AI knows better than
knows the truth.
They ask the rocks and the trees. Yes,
it's telling us what we don't know, or what the scientific establishment won't accept. Right?
Too afraid to know.
That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think that I kind of like it. If like, as opposed to like getting into,
I fucking love it.
Yeah, and just like, as opposed to like, I need to, care a lot about Hillary Clinton and like what's going on in like her pizza factory or whatever. People are trying to get more historical. People are trying to understand the larger world around them. And I'd much prefer that we talk about sea monsters and giants and stuff like that than I think it
really started when that like New York Times report about the aliens came out, or the UFOs, right? And all of a sudden it was like a serious topic to discuss again. And then I think the floodgates kind of just opened, and people were like, okay, well, if we can talk about UFOs and take that seriously, what about giants? What about Atlantis? And then, now people like Graham Hancock are super popular, and, all this kind of stuff. I'm not to say that this kind of stuff was never popular. Obviously, the Ancient Aliens series has been a pretty important thing for most of our entire lives. But I do see it increasingly accepted, not just on the fringes, but even just like in mainstream circles, which again is an indictment of our society for sure, but it also is
I wonder how they kept the giants from banding together and destroying all of the pharaohs and the power structures.
Yeah, they probably got great snacks. How many
guys do you think it would take to give them head?
They're lowering like a big statue, that dick sucking statue, like with like ropes and pulleys.
Yeah, what's the lubrication system like? What's the methodology there? These are the questions I have. You're telling me a guy that size, you're gonna have to run for cover if he shoots his load, dude. It's gonna be causing severe damage to your entire fucking immediate surrounding. Okay, it's like an artillery fire.
That
guy takes 2 weeks off. You're like, oh my god, he's gonna bust down walls.
That's how they created the Nile River, actually, through the giant's jizz. Yeah, I mean, these guys would be hard to suck off. It's a big question. Zach is like, I don't care about. I mean, the pyramids are great, sure, whatever. Like, how these guys fuck, and why was there a birth rate?
I imagine you've got a lot of people spitting into a bucket, and then there's got to be some mops or something, a suction type apparatus.
They're into like one of those Egyptian urns. It's like beautifully ornate and carved. Yeah, I mean that's basically what the mummy was about. I think
takes 4 guys just to tickle the prostate a little bit with a little.
That's right.
Yep.
So I guess we're saying thumbs up, way up, for basically any new kind of fantasy theory about the world. That I think it's more fun and probably better for your health to just enjoy it, because what is the point now about being online, about being on the internet? It's to have fun with your friends.
Yep.
That's the only reason you should be here on the internet. You're not starting the revolution here. You're not going to win anything here.
Age of slop.
There's nothing here really for you anymore. So find something, find your friends, and let's walk with the giants. Let's step on the shoulders.
Let's jerk in a circle.
And so that'll do it for us this week, folks. Folks, if you're watching, this was an incredible live stream, our first Raw Dog live stream that got over 100 concurrent viewers. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for subscribing. We're going to start posting more clips, more content here throughout the weeks. And anything from you guys? Any last words? Any thoughts? Gavin, we lost you. What did you say?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go to Stonehenge and investigate the giants.
We're gonna
go to shit! That's confirmation. Circle Jerk America 2025, Stonehenge, Easter Island, the wonders of the world. Where are the giants? Peace out, everybody.
Okay, it's over.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was
Good
awesome,
shit.
except for the fucking internet issues. I'm like, that was.
Oh, we'll
so
figure it
annoying.
out. Are you Ethernet or Wi-Fi right now?
Just Wi-Fi.
That's why. Yeah, just intermittent. Sometimes you'll lose it for a